Today, I'll be teaching you about sine law. Sine law is a very simple way of finding angles or sides of a triangle. First, I'll tell you or teach you how it works. So let's use this angle, angle B. If I make sine law, so I use opposite and hypotenuse, I can put it into sine over here. Sine B equals, and since it's the opposite side of C, we do C, or first we want to put the H, then the C. This H just stands for this wall that I'm using right now, or the height. And now we want to get this H that I was just talking about alone, because it's not originally part of the triangle. So first, easy way of doing that is just to multiply out C. If you multiply out C, the C comes over to here, and then B, and I can finally finish the formula right now, and I get C times sine B equals H. But we're not done yet. We got to keep going. If we go to C now, we do another sine law formula. We get opposite and hypotenuse. But this hypotenuse is now B. So instead of writing sine C equals H over C, I would write H over B. And now I want to get this H alone again. So I would put B over here because I multiplied it out. Sine C equals H. Now the last step is factoring this formula into this formula. And as you can see, C sine B equals H. So that means I can factor C sine B into this H right here and take H out of the equation completely. So if I write over here, B sine C over, well, I wouldn't do over just yet, C sine B over C sine B. So B sine C equals C sine B. And now I want to create our formula, so I would just divide out the B right here, and I'm going to divide out the C over here. But since I have to do what I do to one side, I have to do to the other, so I have to do B and C, and B and C over here. Now if we get our eraser, we can X out that and X out that, and then we can X out our C and X out that C, because they will divide each other out inevitably. So now we're left with our formula. Sine C over lowercase c and sine B over lowercase b. It's the same as the sine law. I can keep going and get the A, but right now we're just going to move on to application. Before application, actually, we're talking about how sine law cannot be used to find angles greater than 90 degrees. This is just because angles that are like 90 degrees and more, there's two numbers in there that are like the same number as sine, so it would just give you the cute version of it on your calculator and it would just not work. So, application. Right now, we're going to completely solve this triangle. To do that, we're going to have to find this angle, and this side. So first, we have to find our starting point. We're going to use this angle in the opposite side of the angle because it's the only angle and side that have both their numbers. This 28 in A do not, so we can't use that. And we cannot obviously use the C in lowercase c because there's no numbers. So, going on, we would write sine 40 over our 26 equals, and right now I'm going to find A. So over sine A, 28. So now we have our formula out. We need to solve. So since we're finding the angle, we want to get this A alone. To do that, we would multiply 28 on both sides. Oops. 28 on both sides. That leaves us with sine over here and 28 multiplied by sine 40 divided by 26. I'll just do that right now. So in your calculator, you have to write 28 times 40, then press your sine button. It will give you the sine of 40. Now you have to press equals to get your final answer. After you get that answer, you can divide it by 26 to get the number you're going to be that equals sine A. But now we have to go even further because we have to get this A completely alone. We are going to divide out sine. If you divide out sine, it becomes sine -1 on the other side. Multiply, well, no, not multiplied, equals A. So now, the way of typing this out in your calculator is just typing 0.6922, pressing shift or second, looking for sine, and if you press sine while in shift mode, it will do sine -1, which will give you your final answer. And since it's an angle, we're going to have to factor this upwards or downwards. It depends on what your number is. So now we know 44 degrees equals A. We have part of our triangle done. But with this 44 and this 40, we can actually find out the final angle. You don't need to do any extra work for this. So these are both the angles added, minus out of the total degrees a triangle can have, and we get that our final angle is 96. So now we know this is 96. We can finally solve for lowercase c. Now, this is where the equation changes a tiny bit. So, it only changes in just a minor way. So we're going to have to write c, lowercase c, above sine 96. So all you need to do is write the side above the angle. And then this c equals sine 40 over, and now we have b already, so we can do 26. And again, we have to get the c alone, so you multiply out sine 96 and sine 96. From now we get c equals sine 96 multiplied by 26 over sine 40. Oh, I think these are actually backwards. Now, this is a very easy step to mess up on and get a completely wrong answer. So, do it slowly. So you want to do 26 or whatever number you get, 26 multiplied by 96, press sine, and then you have to press equals. Once you get this number up here, you can then divide it by, press divide, 40, press sine again, then press equals. Your final answer shouldn't be too crazy. If you get 4.2, then good job. So, now, this triangle is completely solved. We got all of our angles, all of our sides, and we use sine law formula for all of it.